we're here at the expo, so I just wanted to just do a little teeny bit of vlogging before it starts, and I have to start working. So I'm just gonna go around, just show you guys everybody who's here.
And I would just recommend that to you guys because that's going to allow a lot of ease in your life and you don't have that much to worry about when you're dealing with your hair on a regular basis. The second tip I would give you guys is patience. And I know that sounds cliche, everyone tells you to be patient with your hair, but I'm going to come from a different space. I'm going to say be patient with when it comes to styling. So I'm going to ask you guys to stop styling your hair in a crunch. Stop going into the styling process when you don't have much time, when you're forced to quickly come up with something, when you're forced to, like when you're running out of time, you gotta hurry and get to work, you gotta hurry and get to class. Stop doing that. Plan your styles. If you need to style your hair the night before, do that. Because what we fail to realize is that we don't put enough emphasis on how we feel when we're going about, doing whatever we're doing to our hair. You should not be rushing when you're washing your hair. You should not be rushing when you're styling it, because the way that you feel and the time that you have, you're going to take it out on your hair. You're like, I'm in a hurry, I don't have time to detangle properly or with care. Someone's going to comb through it. Meanwhile, you're breaking your hair off. You're feeling a certain type of way about your hair. You're not being as careful. You're not having as much love and affection for your hair because you're rushing. And now it's like, you look at your hair as it being a burden. Like, my hair is getting in the way of me getting ready for work. It's getting in the way of me heading to this party. But that's because you didn't give yourself enough time to carefully manage the hair. So I would just recommend to you, give yourself time. If it takes you 2 hours to get ready, so what? Then it takes you 2 hours to get ready, that's fine. That's the time it takes for you to get ready, that's your regimen. So, give yourself a chance to nurture and love your hair by giving yourself the time that it needs to put in that kind of care.
That's what's great. Those are two actually really excellent points. Show me how many people have a natural hair care regimen. Like, do a regimen, you're washing your hair, you're styling it consistently on a plan. And how many people have the time to Vaughn's point, allocate time to do their hair, like styling time? I think that is a wonderful point. I think from my personal experience that it's important to take time to do self-care, which is really an extension of what Vaughn is talking about, like finding the time to really take care of yourself, to give your hair the TLC that it needs. I think, although, in my experience, one does still need quick styles that they can do, and maybe it's just sort of like you have in your arsenal some go-to styles that can be executed quickly if your hair has been properly pressed. You know what I mean? So Kristen talked about buns, for example. Buns and updos are things that can be achieved relatively quickly. I know that I consider myself a lazy natural, which is basically shorthand for adopting a simplified approach to natural hair care. And so what I try to do, or what Practical Curl tries to do, is to find the easiest way to achieve certain looks and styles that with an eye towards time saving. But it's also important to block out time to care for yourself, even if you have a job or kids or other responsibilities in life. You need to have me time as well.
I would have to agree. I kind of consider myself a lazy hair natural. I like to keep it really simple, so I have a two-product maximum. I don't do the lock method or the LCO method. I like to get a product that incorporates all three of those things. So in order to prevent me from getting too busy with my products or prevent precipitate or that flakes, those flakes that form, I like to keep it really, really simple. So that would be my biggest tip, is to keep it simple and know what works for your hair. And that's going to come through experimentation. That's going to come from you trying different styles, whether they do have the looser texture or the kinkier texture. You may develop something that is your own, like Nina said, but still keeping it simple and sticking to what you know. Don't try to make anything new or try to make your hair do things that it really doesn't need to do.
Daniel?
I tell everybody to make sure that you have confidence. I say that because when I first cut my hair, of course y'all know this is extended.
Protective styling.
Protective styling thing. But what happened was, once I cut my hair off, they were used to seeing me with 20-inch hair. Once I cut my hair off, and I would go to church and go different places, they'd be like, Karen got kinky. Oh yeah, I'm 4C all day. I'm 4C all day. But unlike the other young ladies, I was confident in who I was. But the thing that happened was when so many people kept saying, I don't like that. I'm used to seeing you with a blowout, or I'm used to seeing you with extensions. I sort of let it affect me for a while.